Beginning recording now. Good evening, my dear subscribers and whoever else might be watching. I've been a little ill the last few days, and I've noticed something. When you go through Skyrim, there's always like these books that you come across, and I don't know about you, but I always collect heaps of them. And I always think like, oh, this title looks so interesting. Or this book sounds interesting. Ooh, this one has a color title or something. And whenever I think about did I actually read them, that happens quite a few times only. Most of the times I just carry them around with me and I don't sell them because I think, oh, you wanted to read them, but I don't. So I thought, this can't really be included in the normal Let's Play series or like guides and tutorials, but I felt like I wanted to read these books. And since you seem to be the type who are interested in such things as you clicked on this video, I thought apart from the other normal series going on in this channel, I might as well sit down, pour myself a cup of tea, and read you some of the books of Skyrim. Now, I'm not a professional, like, voice actor or anything. I've never done something like this before. I don't have training of any kind in reading books or something. This is not even going to be a proper audiobook. It's just books that I found or come across in my travels of the land of Skyrim, and that I felt like would be interesting to read. So at some point I might stumble across a name that I will mispronounce or something. Especially the names are mostly very hard to read. At some point I might say something wrong. Something like that can happen. I apologize if something like that will happen, but as I said before, I'm not trained in any way to do this. And enough of me rambling, let's start by reading this first book that comes with your house. I just felt like sitting next to the hot oven, to the nice fire in the background, in my little home here, Falkreath. And on the table there is the book The Cabin in the Woods. So I thought, let's start this series by reading this book, so without further ado, this is The Cabin in the Woods. Volume 2 actually, I don't think there's a Volume 1. As told by Mogan, son of Morlag. So, if there is a Volume 1, which I don't know of, then I will read that in a future episode, and should I come across that volume, I will link it somewhere around here now, and I will also include it in the description of the video if you're watching on mobile devices. So, before we begin, let me just quickly fetch my blanket, because it's pretty cold in here. I'm so sorry. Like, this video is a fucking mess. I'm a fucking mess. I don't even know why I'm doing this, but this isn't a proper video. The other ones will probably be better when I'm not ill or anything. I apologize if my voice sounds awkward too. It's a rainy, grey day, cold outside. I myself am having a little cold, so, well, get your glass of tea ready, because I'm going to begin reading this. The Cabin in the Woods, Volume 2, as told by Mogan, son of Morlag. Late one night, a few seasons ago, a soldier was returning home after several bloody battles. He decided he would save some gold and decided to cross the pine forest on foot. The first day of his journey was rather uneventful. The soldier stuck to the main path and kept a brisk pace. When it started getting dark, he set up his bedroll, built a small fire, and cooked up some rabbit he had caught. A fine day indeed, he thought to himself, as he fell asleep. Partway through the evening, the soldier was woken up by soft sobbing in the distance. He grabbed his sword, assuming it to be a bandit trick, but pretended to sleep, so he could get the jump on them. After a few minutes, the sobbing started moving away from his camp, until he could no longer hear it. For the rest of the night, he slept with one eye open. Day 2, the soldier awoke from what rotten sleep he could catch, and started off through the forest at a quicker pace, intending to put distance between himself and whatever he had heard last night. As the day went on, it began to rain heavy, so the soldier built himself a little shelter for the evening, so he could remain dry while he slept. It took him a little longer to fall asleep, with thoughts of the previous night fresh in his mind, but he eventually slept. This time he awoke to sobbing that sounded like it was right outside his shelter. The soldier grabbed his sword and crawled out of the shelter. In front of the fire he saw the back of a ghostly woman sobbing into her hands. The soldier mustered his courage and asked her what was wrong. No answer. He began to slowly approach, but before he could reach her, she turned and screamed at him. The ghostly woman raised an axe and began to run at the soldier, disappearing before she made contact. The soldier took off into the night with just his sword in hand. He ran until the first light of dawn, where he started down the road again, as fast as he could move. The third day was bright and sunny, but the soldier, rattled and sleepless, didn't even notice. He moved as fast as he could, trying to get through the forest before nightfall. As darkness began to fall, he saw a cabin just off the road and thought to himself it would be a good place to bunker down for the night. After arriving at the cabin, he spent some time blocking the doors and windows. Nothing would get in. Despite his preparations, he could not sleep. He sat in what used to be the cabin's bedroom, staring at the barricaded door, shaking. Eventually, he could keep his eyes open no longer, and fell asleep. This time, he awoke to laughing on the other side of the barricaded door. It sounded like the woman from before, but he refused to believe it was her. The soldier burst through the barricaded door into the main room, to find the ghostly woman from the night before, staring at the ground, laughing hysterically with axe in hand. He began to relentlessly attack the ghostly woman, but he could feel his strikes were less effective. He used a scroll of firebolt, which drew a scream from her, and she exploded, disappearing. The ordeal was over. The ghost was gone. The soldier slept well that night, and the next day made excellent distance through the woods. As the sun began to set, he came out on the other side of the forest and looked back, remembering the days before. As he turned away and started walking away from the woods, he could swear he heard the sobbing again. Well, so this was the first book in our new series of myself rambling, hopefully not as much in the future videos, and reading the books of Skyrim. I hope you join me next time. I promise I won't speak so much before the video starts, and I'll probably sound less awkward and sobby myself, as I hopefully won't be ill anymore. I have a little bit of a sore throat right now, and my nose is just exploding or something. So I hope you enjoyed this somewhat other video, and I hope I see you next time with another Skyrim video. I will just leave other videos for Skyrim here somewhere on the screen so you can click on them. And yes, consider liking and even subscribing for normally more high quality videos. Most often regarding Skyrim, sometimes little strongholds, like a little bit of it, like poured into the whole soup. And Assassin's Creed is also a game series frequently covered on this channel. So if you're in for that, consider subscribing and those videos will pop up. Also, don't forget to press the little ring bell, like the notification thing, so you won't miss a video. And that's it for this time. See you next time.